folks, I'm the Bar Dad and welcome to Adulting at the Bar. In today's edition, we're going to talk about ice. Well, more specifically, about how to order a whiskey or a scotch. Now, one of the things that's important to realize as we go through these different options is it's important that you order what you like and you enjoy. Okay? That's the important part. I'm going to go through a couple of things today, but again, I want you to find what works for you.
It's the Bar Dad.
Ice, baby. All right. So as you can see here, I have a very reduced supply of some brown liquors in front of me.
Okay, media will play softer.
All right. So what we have in front of me is a couple of...
Take a drink.
That's good. All right, what I have in front of me are some examples of some whiskeys, some scotches, some blended scotches, some single malts, some ryes from my collection. Just an example of some of the booze that you might order in the ways that we're going to talk about today. But before we get into those examples, again, as you know, the Bar Dad's main goal is to help you develop an appreciation of what you're drinking. So I recommend that if somebody offers you a scotch or a whiskey or something, and you've never had it before, I'd like you to actually taste it without all that other stuff in it. Just simple, neat, in a glass that preferably kind of comes to a point and allows the aromas in there. And I want you to smell it, really kind of get that nose in there, and appreciate all the different nuances and layers that you have in there. And I want you to take a slow sip of this and just let it kind of cascade down and determine the different layers, the notes, the flavors, because this is where it comes to appreciation. Not, right? No, right? You could drink gasoline that way and it'd probably the same effect. I want you to appreciate this. So pour yourself a little in a glass, stick the nose in there. God, that smells good. All right. By the way, this is some Glenmorangie, and this is actually aged in a I don't have my glass on, I can't see. But this is what I'm drinking, by the way. Glenmorangie, the Nectar d'Or, right there. Good stuff. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's good stuff. Let's take a sip. It's the best part of the job. Man, that's good. So, some people get afraid of this stuff because when they taste a little sip of it, they go, oh, it burns, ah! No. Enjoy the warmth as it goes down. Now, some people, and I do enjoy this as well, if you add a little bit of water to your scotch, just a little bit, swirl it around a little bit, and what this does is it kind of unlocks a lot of the essence of the scotch. It cuts down on that what some people call the burn, right? And it just allows you to really enjoy more of the scotch. Oh, that's good. All right. So what I've taught you here are pretty much the first two ways to enjoy a good whiskey or a good scotch. And that is to have a little bit here and pour a little bit of water in it to kind of break it up to unlock it. Some bars you'll actually go to will have little eyedroppers. So if you go into a bar and you see eyedroppers sitting on the bar, it's not because they want you to like lubricate your eyes or anything like that. It's actually to put single drops of water into your scotches and just enjoy this. Just taste it and then decide, hey, do I want to pour a bunch of ice in it or just a little ice, and go from there. So we just talked about ordering a whiskey or scotch neat, and that means no ice, right? You can ask for a little bit of water on the side, or if they have the eyedroppers, the water's here, right? To unlock the notes to help you enjoy it. But now we're going to go into ice. Some people like their scotches or their whiskeys on ice with a little bit of ice or a lot of ice. And again, it's about what you enjoy, not the pretense that you want to put on when you're sitting at the bar. It's about ordering intelligently and drinking something that you like to drink. So, one of the things that I like to do sometimes if I'm feeling a bit kitschy is I actually will order a scotch with a single rock. And what that does is it allows a little bit of water to get in there. And I also like a little bit of chill in my whiskeys as well. So it cools it down a little bit, and it allows you to, again, cut it with a little bit of that water. Fantastic. Okay. This is an ice ball. This is a premium. All right. Here, look at that. Looks like it's got a little, anyway, we'll cut that one out. So, there's nothing sexy about getting on an ice ball. Well, this one actually, look at that. You gotta kind of cut around here, and then you gotta make sure it does look on the floor. There we go. Okay. So, by the way, can you see that? That's the Death Star. Yes, I'm a geek. All right. So, ice balls. Now, why would if I only want a little bit of water in my whiskey, why would I want it a giant ice ball? Well, the theory is, and again, I'm no expert, but the theory is that the ice ball melts slowly, which would allow you to nurse the whiskey. See how that looks? That's pretty good right there. And the ice will melt slowly. It cools the whiskey. It cuts it with a little bit of water. Plus, you're drinking with a giant Death Star ball in your cup, so that's pretty cool too. So, some places have ice balls or giant ice cubes. Sometimes when you order that, they'll ask you, do you want the ice ball? Sometimes it's a little upcharge, so think about that, you millennials that are on a budget. You know, if you want the ice ball, it might be an extra money. But it is an interesting way and a fun way to enjoy your beverages. Now, you can make these at home. You can get these on Amazon or Target or whatever. You can get balls or all sorts of Death Star things or whatever, and put them in your freezer and impress your friends when they come in. But again, another way to enjoy it. Now, other people will come in and they'll say, I want a scotch or whiskey on the rocks. Okay? So what the bartenders will do is they'll fill up the glass all the way to the top with ice, and then they'll pour it usually up to the top, right? And there, by the time you get this, it's the color of, well, I don't want to tell you what the color is, but it's really light, right? And it's got no flavor. So the more water you put in it, the colder you make it, does cut down on the flavor. It does make it enjoyable to drink, because some people would never touch a whiskey or a scotch unless it had a crap load of ice in it. But remember, that's why I want you to try it first without the ice, because it really allows you to understand what you're drinking and not what you're drinking masked by all this ice. So, again, on a cold or a cold day, that wouldn't make sense, on a hot day, especially here in Florida, which is like 90% of the year, something like this might help you enjoy it better. But again, go for the neat at the beginning. So this is, by the way, on the rocks. You can, again, you do the ice ball or this. So I'm going to take a little sip of this. It's cold. So let's review. The first thing we talked about was ordering a whiskey or a scotch neat, right? Where there's no ice in it. It's just naked deliciousness in a glass, right? And this will help you to really enjoy, oh wow, it smells good. Really enjoy the bouquet and the nuances of the glass, or excuse me, of the scotch. You might also, again, want to just cut it with a little bit of water, right? That's where they say cut it. You want to cut the scotch, add a little bit of water. Sometimes it might be an eyedropper. And again, that breaks it down. It unleashes the aromas and the nuances. Oh man, it's delicious stuff. Okay. We also talked about ice balls or giant ice cubes. This, you might find it at a bar. You can also get them at home. Make little Death Star balls, put them in your freezer. This chills your beverage, and it also allows a little bit of water to get in at a time, so you can nurse it. You probably have a couple of rounds just with the one ice ball, and you can enjoy it that way. Or you can order on the rocks, which the bartenders will probably fill this all the way up to ice. So you'll have a very diluted version of this. It's, for some people, it's very enjoyable to drink, but from a flavor profile, it's nothing compared to what you'll get out of a neat or as I showed you earlier, the single rock that you can do in there as well. Now, yes, I talked about ordering a scotch or whiskey on the rocks or neat or with one rock or cut it with a little water. But one of the things, again, it's about the appreciation. So my goal for you out there in Bar Dad world is to, again, identify a whiskey or a scotch that you like. What's your favorite? What's your go-to? What's your foundational beverage? And then ask for it by name. Because when you go up and say, I'll have a scotch on the rocks, or I'll have a whiskey neat, all right, you're kind of a rube, right? So you really want to identify the ones that you like. For you millennials out there on a budget, make sure some are pretty expensive, some aren't. Find the one that's going to match your budget when you go to a bar. It's not going to kill you, right? You can order one for your date too. That's important, right? And order it by name, because that automatically elevates your adulting at the bar. Instead of just ordering the generic vodka on soda or a scotch, order a Glenlivet or a Balvenie or something like this, which makes you actually kind of cool. All right, so till next time, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you. Thank you. Drink responsibly. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe on Instagram, YouTube, The Bar Dude. Don't forget to find us on Instagram and Instagram. That's funny. Don't forget to find us on Instagram or YouTube. Like, follow, subscribe. Send me a question that you want me to answer on The Bar Dad at DM me on Instagram, or email me at thebardad@gmail.com. Till next time, keep your friends close and your scotch closer.
It's the Bar Dad.